Actually, I think it was kind of interesting that they kept that part of her character. Uh, Not that you can really say there's much of a character there, but something that was kind of interesting during the destruction sequence of Unit 3 was that they had everybody in the control room is watching with their jaws on the floor and their eyes wide open. It's a very transformery kind of look on their faces. And Maya is the only one who turned away. The only one. They were using stock footage for everybody else, of course. Gando Akari with that fucking little smirk on his face. And Fuyutsuki with no eyes and just eyebrows like a good anime character. Maya was the only one who turned away. And for me, the first time I saw that, that really sold the kind of the horror without gore that was the destruction of Unit 3. Now, they did get a little more into seeing Unit 1 tear things out. Like, we literally saw some intestines get thrown aside. At least I think that's what it was. I didn't see any shit in it, but we see an arm get thrown aside, and we see basically Unit 1 make a bloody pulp. Of course, it happens, again, we see a giant robot tearing apart another one, but it happens conveniently behind a hill. And you know what? Some people might sneer at that and say, why didn't you show us the whole thing? And I say, you know what? That's kind of the thing I like about Eva, is even though these monsters and giant robots are literally tearing each other apart, it's not so gory that it makes some people want to turn away. Now, of course, I wouldn't show this to anybody under the age of, 14, but it didn't turn my stomach. I think it was more the shock and horror of knowing not just that Unit 1 was going into this automaton berserker mode, which was actually kind of creepy in 2.0 when this kind of robotic set of arms and headless things show up in front of him in the entry plug, but knowing that there was somebody inside that entry plug, knowing that there was somebody still, there's a hostage in there, whatever may happen. We never got Toji's side of the story. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of Asuka's side of the story. Although from the trailer for 3.0, I don't think we'll get much of a depressed and horrified and mentally scarred forever Asuka. I don't think we're going to get that. But I knew the destruction of Unit 3 was coming, and I knew it was going to be a little on the badass side. You know what? Honestly, some of the badassness kind of got sucked out of that sequence. Probably because it only went up against Unit 1. Like, Unit 0, you got to see how aggressive this thing was. And you got to see how it's, what was it, an invasion type angel, whatever the hell that means, because hey, they all invade. Conversion, invasion, inversion, whatever it is. And then we didn't see what happened to Unit 2, which is kind of interesting. It's one of those classic theater things where what you don't see can be more horrifying and more terrifying, where what you don't see is much more horrifying because your mind comes up with whatever the hell you want. But anyways, the destruction sequence, I didn't really think that. I kind of expected Shinji to, even if he doesn't attack, at least try to put up some kind of a defensive measure. Like, he succeeds in pulling the angel's hands off of its throat, and then holy shit, 2 more hands pop out of it. Really? Come on. While that was surprising that the Ninth Angel had an extra set of arms in there, that isn't really what I was expecting its special feature to be. It had the arm extending thing like the first time around, but a second pair of hands, a second pair of arms, I didn't think that worked. It's just kind of, there's the shock of, I knew the sequence was coming, and it was well done. It didn't have the same kind of, and not just because I'd seen it happen before, but it just didn't have the same kind of vibe to it. Like, something was missing. I'm not sure what. Rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, if I had been an animated character on screen, I would have had that little shake where the character kind of vibrates side to side when something's happening. I was doing that. Like, I had the jitters in my stomach. That's what I call it during that sequence, and it didn't really go away for the rest of the film. I was like, oh shit. Oh my god, the thing though that I literally gasped in the theater out loud, by the way, was when Unit 1 picks up the entry plug and sticks it in its fucking mouth. Like it was crazy when we knew that Toji was inside the entry plug and he crushed and it was crushed in Unit One's hand. That was pretty horrifying. And then you got these split second shock looks of everybody in the control center except for Ikari, of course. But you saw Unit One stick the entry plug in its mouth, and you could actually see that jaw struggling, and then boom. I gasped when it actually broke through. That was it. You know, they broke the entry plug in the series, but holy shit, they killed Asuka. Why would you do that? And then we find out, oh no, she survived. She's in critical care, but she's okay. Huh? I think it would have been better within the manga version of Eva where Toji died. He didn't just lose a leg and an arm. No, he died in the manga. Manga, whatever. You know, if you're going to crush the entry plug, the pilot better be dead. Because when an angel gets to that point, they're usually dead. You activate the ejection system if you have to, but if you're going to crush an entry plug, that pilot better goddamn be dead. Even though it's a shock, even though it's a sad moment. And then, by far, my favorite Eva death was the blink and you'll miss it consumption of Unit Zero. Played like something out of The Empire Strikes Back, where that big hand puppet comes out of the asteroid field, tries to eat the Millennium Falcon. The angel just sticks this thing out and done. And there's just this pair of legs sitting there on the battlefield. It's like, oh shit! By the way, I should note that I really, really like the rebuild coloring of Units 0 and 2. I really, really liked it. I like the coloring on Unit 0 to begin with, when in the series and then in 1.0, but I'm so glad that Unit 0 didn't get the blue repaint. I am so happy. And it got a pair of utility wings in yellow and black and white. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Studio Kara. I genuinely appreciate that. Didn't Unit 2 feel like it had all these toys and stuff attached to it, though? You had all these gimmicks and stuff. Yeah, it's the production model, and Unit 1 and 0, blah, 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 blah. But it just felt like it was a little too gimmicky. Like, you knew they were going to be selling a bunch of toys. Like, you look at the Revoltech figure that's reviewed on CollectionDX.com. Not by me, by the way, which I didn't get the figure because, well, I hadn't seen it yet. And you just kind of felt like they were trying to advertise toys when they made Unit 2 this time around. I love the coloring scheme, and some of the toys were kind of interesting. Although the colors on Unit 3, they just kind of randomly stuck some red in there, which... Do you really have to make it any more devilish looking than it already is? It's black and white, and it's got a little bit of gray, and it's got a little bit of purple. I suppose because they didn't have Unit 4, they felt obligated to put some red in there. But, whatever. Oh, by the way, if you want to see Eva Unit 4 animated in rebuild coloring, if you look at the favorites in my YouTube channel, you'll see that I've highlighted a video that I found a year and a half ago. It's called Tabris versus Ramiel. I think it comes from the PlayStation version of Evangelion 1.0, whatever it is. It was also seen in a pachinko machine, which is like the Japanese version of pinball, which is vertical as opposed to diagonal. Anyways, Unit 0, and I talked about this in vlog number 1. Unit 4 has rebuild coloring in there. The coloring scheme is rebuild accurate, so unfortunately that's the only time you get to see it, but fuck, at least we got to see it. You know, I'm just pleased as punch they made it. But yeah, Unit 0 got eaten by the puppet from The Empire Strikes Back, which was totally unexpected. Oh, and Unit 2 also ate it. I'm pretty sure Unit 2 is not coming back because you don't see it in the trailers. I suppose it's time for me to start talking about the antagonists in the series. I keep saying series. Well, it's a series of movies. Or is it a movie of a series? The Angels. I already talked about the dinosaur skeleton running around, which was kind of weird. Something interesting I noticed is that I'll say complexity and detail, and, well, I don't know about detail, but the complexity and I'll say the challenge of defeating each angel becomes progressively more difficult with each one. With the third angel, which makes its appearance in 2.0, we get the skeleton, which does a lot of running around, and actually I can't really remember that much about it. It's 3:30, by the way, so my brain is starting to shut down. I had to take like a 20-minute pause there because my throat's getting dry. Anyways, the dinosaur skeleton of Doom was, it was what it was. And by the way, that was just a few fragments of the third angel. That was not the completed angel. That was just a skeleton running around all by itself. It was like watching Thing from the Addams Family, you know? What the hell was that? And then they blew up Unit 5 rather quickly. I was like, wow. I mean, ugly as that thing is, they destroyed an Ava 10 minutes in. Not even 10 minutes. I keep saying 10 minutes. Whatever. And then next up was the new seventh angel, the Popsicle Stick Clock of Doom, which, that was kind of an interesting one, although I do feel that if an Ava is falling straight down through the air, regardless of the twisting and turning that Asuka was doing, I don't think she could have avoided all of those, can't really call them tentacles, but all those spear thingies that it was throwing at him. I don't think she could have avoided all these things. I think she got hit once when she wasn't paying attention or something, but that was it. It was certainly a striking angel design. Actually, now that I think about it, they didn't have any humanoid angels in this one except maybe the ninth angel, but I don't think that really counts. And the 10th angel definitely doesn't count, but I'll get to that one eventually. So the 7th angel was kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting though, the two angels that are brand new that we've never seen in the series, we get in the first 20 minutes. So, there were a couple of angels I liked in the series. I'll go over it real quickly here. I liked the original 7th angel, Israfel. That was kind of a cool one. Because it led to a lot of hijinks and trouble between Shinji and Asuka, them trying to synchronize with each other. You want to talk about over-the-top technological capabilities, though. The 8th angel, which we never saw come to fruition, not the whole thing. It was just an embryo that kind of got pissed off at Asuka, and that was it. Being able to survive in magma, that was kind of it was an exciting episode, but I didn't think that was very plausible. Even in the world of Evangelion, I didn't think that worked. So that was kind of lame. The 9th angel, Matriel, the daddy longlegs of Doom. It spits acid when it's getting depressed. That was kind of cool. I wish we could have seen how the Evas would have dealt that one on an equal footing. That would have been interesting. I get the impression, though, that Angel was being kind of lazy. He was like, oh, I'm not getting challenged anymore. I'm just going to spit acid on him. The 10th Angel, Sahakwiel, returns as the 8th Angel. The moth butterfly thingy of Doom. I don't know if it was an intentional or not for them to attempt to recreate the 12th Angel, Laliel, as the 8th Angel's pre-reentry form. I got the impression that that's what they were trying to do. There was a bunch of, what was it, crucifixes. There were a bunch of crucifixes inside, just bouncing around all over the place. Which, or something? Or no, it was the eyes, the Sahakwiel's eyes that were bouncing around inside there. Which, I wasn't really impressed with that. But I think they were trying to do it as homage to Laliel, the original 12th Angel. But I didn't think they carried it off very well. The stained glass moth thingy was kind of cool. I like how it actually took that angel a little more time to fall through the atmosphere. I like that they gave it more time, and that it didn't just fall straight down. It actually made its own course corrections